I wanted to reach out to you because I wasn't sure if you needed this in a hurry, and I'm just about to leave for the day. So I thought I would send you like a starting video where you can do some crisis research and digging around. So there's a lot of databases and there's a lot of resources. A lot of them are mixed into our main search right here in the library catalog. I don't know if they call it the catalog anymore. But one thing to remember, if you are off campus, log in here or you won't have access to our electronic resources and scholarly articles and stuff like that. So go to advanced search. Here's your first task is in the advanced search. What we want to do, so we could put in, let's see, what was it? Officer culture. And if you put something in quotes, it looks for those two words or more stuck together, right? That works on Google too. We might get what we're looking for, but there's only like 66. Is this kind of like what we're looking for? That's not enough for us to pick through. So I wanted to give you a bigger body of keywords that you can start with. So let me start out. Oh, you know what I did before in my first search? I searched just in the title only. So it was like the most important thing would show up. So there were only 13. They were all right on target. I love the title of that one. At any rate. So let's do a more generic one that allows you to pick through and sift, like you're looking in a box of puzzle pieces. So on this one, I'm going to do officer. You can change that, but that's a good starting point. So if you do a search for that, you're probably familiar with this already. It's only looking for that word, and it's looking for it in the title or the abstract or the authors or keywords, things like that. So we have 8 million results going back to, I'd be interested to see how far it goes back. Going back to the year 500. That might be out of scope. So every time you add a keyword, this isn't a smart search. It's only looking up those particular words. So if you speak languages other than English, you can search in those too, because this looks like Arabic or Korean characters or anything like that. But there's a ton of English. So for our next line, so I want to find after this and, I want to find out of these 8 million things, I want things related to prison. But there's synonyms for prison, so I don't want it to just miss anything if it's in incarceration or incarcerated, or I don't know if anyone uses jail anymore, or some other synonyms. I guess you could write, or inmate. That kind of talks about a population though, but it's kind of inferred. Na, 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 na. Okay. So when you put an or, it means I don't know what the keyword is. So I'm going to try all these different synonyms or related terms about this very slice. So we're talking about the environment. So I guess that would be, I don't know. I'm doubting my incarcerated, but that will narrow us down from 8 million to 124,000. That's really good. So let's go farther, and let's say, so you're looking at violence, healthcare, ethnography, turnover, and things like that. So if you added turnover, what's another name for that? You could do turnover or hiring or employment. Trying to think of like keywords. I remember I had a boss years ago that would say, Dale, you need staying power. And that's not going to work here because no one's going to do an evidence-based article using that euphemism. But every time you add in a line after the and, it then looks out of the previous pile and narrows it down even further. So on this one, we're not looking at healthcare. We're not looking at necessarily, I would say let's take out inmate. So we don't want to look at that population yet. Then you go, correctional. Oops, here's my notes for today. Correctional officer. What's the other one that they said? Okay. So every time you come up with another keyword, you can add it. Look at that. So they're right on the top. But there's like reasons for turnover. Oh, recruitment. Do you see how I'm doing this? This is how you would go about it before you started narrowing down. So when you want to start narrowing down, if you've decided that you need peer-reviewed scholarly articles, then you can narrow down specifically. Once you've got your keyword set, you can narrow down to those. And then all of a sudden we just have 384. And then it could be that you want to narrow down to things that have happened since the pandemic. And you can narrow 1910. We've come a smidge of a way since then. Then you can narrow down to that date. So it's good to look in the whole body because there's literally, I think, like 100 to 150 million different things that it looks at. And so you can test out those keywords. And then, are we just still in articles? Oh, we still are in peer-reviewed journals. Now you can you know that you're narrowed down to what you were looking for, and you can just look for those. Or you can look at books for generic things. You can even look for some government documents here, but that's a great place to start. If you want to see the full text of these, all you have to do is click on these, full text available, or if you go down here, it'll say, look in one of these databases. And you can click with confidence because sometimes it'll work. Yes. Yeah. So that's a starting point. Let me know how it goes, and let's keep on talking as we go. But again, sorry it took me so long to get a hold of you today via our ticket system.